Hi, everyone. Like, am I really horrible? Oh, my eyes, I just let it go. They're recording. My last one, I literally had my mouth open at the beginning anyway and looked weird. But like a confused face, sort of open mouth. It was very weird. I had in my last video. And now this one I've just started with the bird noise. But yeah, today's video, I'm gonna basically, this is my top 10 worst movies of 2022. So I'll be doing a countdown of basically the top 10. Yeah, the top 10 worst movies are the movies I found the worst. Some people might agree with me, some people might not agree with me, especially when it comes to like worst movies. Some people can get very touchy on if it's their favourite film. So I'm sorry, I apologise. But yeah, let's start. So I'll do the honourable mentions first before I start the actual list. So yeah, honourable mentions are Black Adam, The Rock's film. And the stuff The Rock's been saying recently is just brought out like, yeah, a bit of a not so nice side of The Rock. And all these years we all thought he was a nice guy, but fair enough, like I say, never meet your idols anyway. But yeah, there's little stories behind all that. So Black Adam, yeah, didn't really enjoy that film. And 𝓕𝓬𝓬𝓲𝓪 is another honourable mention, which it was entertaining in parts. So I was entertained in parts, so I don't mind. And the demon. By the way, this is spoilers alert, I better say as well. But yeah, the demon in the film kind of looks like a 𝓕𝓪𝓬𝓬𝓲𝓪 from Death Note. Death Note, which is a Japanese anime, just in case anyone doesn't know anime. But yeah, it kind of looks like a really bad riot demon does in that film. But yeah, I did enjoy in parts though, so it's kind of like a bad film that you secretly go back and watch again and enjoy. And another one is The Man from Toronto. One sentence to this: Kevin Hart needs to stop playing the same boring roles. You're literally like, no one laughs anymore. Yeah, not in a mean way, but yes, Kevin Hart, stop playing the same roles, please. And yeah, and most people hate me for this honourable mention of worst movies, but Knives Out 2. You've completely ruined one of my favourite film franchises. I mean, no, the first one. You've completely ruined the first one for me. I did not enjoy this one at all. I wasn't feeling it, but everyone else has loved it. So I'm the only one that literally has not liked Knives Out 2. The first one I will stick to watching. I preferred way more. Only best part of these films is Daniel Craig. But yeah, so let's get on to the actual list now of top 10 worst movies of this year. So let's go. So number 10 position is Orphan First Kill. This is another one where it's ruined the first film for me. I'm actually disappointed. I really enjoyed the first one and I've watched that many times, and it's actually one of my favourite horrors as well. And this one they ruined it, and it's sad. It's ruined. Like the second one, it looks like it was just been like first one came out in 2009, and it looks like it was like they shot it already or something, like in the early 2010s or something, and then like they released it now, and it looked really bad quality. I was fed up of the like bit too much blur background at times, and it just, I know horror films are meant to look dark, but at times I couldn't even see anything that was happening. It was yeah, like I couldn't even see what was happening. And the girl's face, like you could tell they've had to edit it just to really make her look like a kid. I don't know, it felt like something was edited as well. But yeah, it was just literally her coming back and all that into a new American family. And the only interesting part, of course, was the big, plot twist. But a lot of people enjoyed this film. They did love it, and I think they loved it for this particular plot twist. Of course, when it gets revealed that obviously the mum, played by Julia Stiles, already know that she's like, putting on an act and pretending to be her daughter because they killed her and the son killed the daughter herself. All that big reveal. That's the only interesting part of the film. They killed her, but they never. I don't know what was the. She didn't reveal the reason why she actually killed her daughter. like a poor innocent little daughter. It was her and the son got together and like killed her. And it's just literally that big reveal, and then after that the film is just rubbish. And then the fire scene looks ridiculous, where she's walking through, they're trying to make it look all cool, like her walking through this horrible CGI fire. It doesn't even look a good effect. You could have just asked, oh my god, you could have spent a bit more, and it just looks really low budget. You could have spent more and just done a better effect. But her walking through the fire, when the house has been lit on fire for a good few minutes, because they have that roof scene on top where they're falling everywhere. It's, where they fall, and then the dad's acting becomes so rubbish towards the end, and they're like falling like about to fall off the roof. She survives, the main orphan girl, and then she's like in the house walking through the fire with this bad CGI effect, and it looks so awful. And I'm like, by now that house would have realistically like been burned down, because how many minutes it was burning before when they were on that roof. But yeah, trying to give her a cool effect and saying she survived again, so they're obviously sequel baiting it again. And then Julia Stiles, you just don't get a mother vibe from her. I know I'm not being mean, but like there is this aggression from her as an actress, and like I just couldn't even believe her as a mum. And then when they did the big reveal, it makes sense why they kind of chose her though, because she was good at doing the like scenes of like, you know, pushing her around and like, you're going to do this for me, we're going to control you in this way. Well, she doesn't actually say that dialogue, of course, but you know, trying to hint that we're going to control you in this way, otherwise we'll send you back to Estonia, into the madhouse again. Well, she calls it the madhouse, don't she? And yeah, so it makes sense why they did choose her for that scene. But yeah, it's no motherly. At least the woman in the first one, at least there's like a motherly vibe from her. But yeah, I really, really did not enjoy this film, and I'll stick to watching the first one of this as well. But yeah, next film, 9 with the longest title ever. I'll have to keep my head down with this one. So Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Very long title. I don't know how anyone remembered this title. I have no such. But yeah, I always check my nail and it hasn't chipped onto my face. But yeah, this film. All I just remember is Elizabeth Olsen turning up, looking for her kids. Literally at this point, I am just bored of her character. Like, I'm just bored of Wanda at this point. Looking for her kids. Where's my kids? Where's my kids? Oh my god. And then Doctor Strange trying to stop her. It was more like, you know, Luke even said it's just more just her making an appearance more than Doctor Strange, and it's his film. He's meant to be the main, but she's making an appearance more than him. And it was just literally just such a bad film. I've never been so bored. Scenes were just dragging. And right, I had when you have a gut feeling right in the first scene a film's going to be bad. Right when this film started, in the first scene, I had a feeling it was going to be bad. I don't know what was giving it away. And yeah. And like I've been saying, like me and Luke both been saying, nothing great has really come from Marvel this year, which is really disappointing. It's so sad, because Marvel's like, and literally has the best film, one of the best films as well. People might fight me on that if I say best films. Is by accident, but one of the best films. But yeah, I just think this film, like the first one was so much better. Another one, they ruined the first one. Yeah, another one where the first one was amazing and the second one just no effort. No, they did make an effort, but it just felt it was just very like, just for me, I just found it boring, but other people probably didn't. They probably loved it. But yeah, so next on the list is 8th position, another Marvel film, Thor: Love and Thunder. Oh my god, this was another boring Marvel film. What's happened to Marvel this year? Another boring one. Why? And the only interesting part was Christian Bale, who was a great villain. I just liked his story even better than Thor's story in this film. How bad's that? I actually like the bad guy more than the good guy. That's how boring this whole film was. Natalie Portman. Like basically, yeah, because she had those scenes where she had cancer in this film. Then all of a sudden, when she starts becoming like Thor, she don't have cancer anymore. I don't know. And then Tessa Thompson, I'm not a fan of. I don't think she's a good actress. When I saw her in Creed films, I was like, oh my god, like I don't understand. And then she said this controversial thing back in 2018. I know it's back in 2018, but about something about white men or something. Like, I know it's back in 2018, but I don't know. I just sense that she would probably like still come out with something like that. Because I do think you could just sense a bit of an attitude as well from her, as well. So I'm just not a fan of hers. I might get in trouble for saying stuff like that, but I'm just really not. And Natalie Portman, I'm just not a fan of because she only acts when she feels like acting, and I just think she's, I don't know. I don't understand why she still gets work if she only acts when she feels like acting. And then and then for this whole film I was just bored. I actually fully lost interest at times. I did lose interest. It's not even a bad film that you can just laugh at. It was literally like just really I was just so bored. What was going on? And then the end scene, the editing between the both scenes, me and Luke found so annoying, was when Christian Bale's dying and then Natalie Portman's dying, and they keep on like swapping the scenes around. 1 minute showing Natalie dying, next minute showing Christian dying. I couldn't even be asked with character names at this point. And just like they keep changing the scene, and you just don't really and you just don't care. I was actually sad the villain died. I was actually more sad for that scene. How bad's that? Like, I'm sorry, Thor really failed this year. Other people probably liked it, but no, I wasn't feeling it. But yeah, so next we are on number 7 position, which is Fistful of Vengeance. That's such hard words. I'm rubbish with long words, as you can tell, even though I went to like quite a posh sort of Catholic school, but I didn't even pay attention in school. But yeah, I just can't say long words. But yeah, this film, I love Iko Uwais. I love him in the Raid films, and he's just such a brilliant actor. He was the only best part of this film. And this film, I just think he was surrounded by not so good actors. And I just really, the action scenes were okay. I just really did not enjoy the story at all. I completely lost interest. It's another one where I got really bored. Oh, Billy's playing with his mouse. As in toy mouse, not a real mouse. But yeah, I really like, another film I completely lost interest. I just remember like, very forgettable film as well. I can barely remember the scenes from it. How bad's that? I wasn't going to rewatch it for this list. I don't think I could put myself through that torture. But I just remember like, a horrible yellow background throughout the whole film. Kind of like what Bollywood does. I'm just going to say it. Bollywood does the same with these yellow backgrounds. And then it was just like, Iko Uwais is just the best part. I was only happy when he was on screen. And the others just couldn't act. If they could act, then I'd actually pay attention and be like, oh my god, that person's like really talented. The others just couldn't act, and I just felt like the females were just there to be eye candy. It was just kind of like going back in the day where like women were really used for eye candy in films. It's like going back to that again. And I just remember, the action scenes and just the film. The action scenes were just decent, and then the film was just really boring. Poor guy, he had to star in that. It's just like, it wasn't just, the story was all over the place. It just didn't make any sense at all. Me and Luke were both like, what is going on with this story? We were just like, it feels all over the place. Like, it's just not adding up. It just didn't make sense. And then after a bit, I just got bored. We both just got bored as well. But I was like, I've got to watch it all because I can need to put it on my worst movies list. So I had to watch it all. So yeah, so that was 7th position. 6th position is Ik Villain Returns, which is a Bollywood film. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say, Fistful of Vengeance is kind of is I think it was like an American, American sort of Asian film. I I think quite a few countries were involved with that film. I think I need to Google that actually. I need to double check and then put it in the comments actually myself. But yeah, sorry, 𝓕𝓐𝓬𝓬𝓲𝓪 Returns, which is in sixth position, is a Bollywood film, and this one, it was on Netflix. I basically got told by someone that it's a really bad film, so I thought, oh my god, I can put this on my worst movies list. I need something to put on, and because from the looks, because someone's already told me that, you know, because I got told it's bad, and I'm like, oh, so this one's bad, because I watched the first one of this, and the first one was awful as well, and really hard to watch in some scenes. Oh, hello, Billy, Billy. And it was like, yeah, just like really, the first one was really hard to watch. This one was really hard to watch as well. The first one was absolutely rubbish, where it was like stupid thing of the husband can kill other women whenever he can't go angry at his own wife. He follows his like wife around, but whenever his wife pisses him off, he takes his anger out and murders a poor innocent woman. Well, what a nice person. Wow, that's a nice way to take your anger out on someone. But yeah, the first one was just rubbish, and it was just dragging and rubbish, and then we had to sit through 𝓕𝓪 doing overacting, with that annoying role they gave her to play. Such an annoying character they gave her. And then Sid, bless him, can't act, just a pretty face for Bollywood, and that's been Bollywood's fault. Big fault in the 2010s, just a bunch of pretty faces picked, but not even caring if they can act or not. And kind of, this film had the same problem too, actually. 𝓕𝓐𝓬𝓬𝓲𝓪 Returns, the only ones that can act were John Abraham and Arjun Kapoor. And then, like, this show was okay in some scenes as well. But like, it was just really, with this one, it was just kind of like a similar sort of thing to the first one, where it was just like, oh yeah, he kills because his girlfriend tells him to kill, and take, like, she's blatantly cheating on him, and he saw her cheating, but he just kills other women because she's telling him to take his anger on that instead if he's mad at her. Billy's on a high. But yeah, take his anger out and kill other people instead. And it's just literally so desperate, this film is, to sell, especially to sell 𝓕𝓫𝓬𝓬𝓲𝓪. Both of the actresses, by the way, look the same as each other, because today's Bollywood, the actresses literally look the same. All have to literally bleach their skin to get into the industry. And extra lighting to make them look even more lighter skinned. Ooh. I thought those times were over, but it's still old fashioned in Bollywood then. And yeah, and it's gone even more superficial now because men have to have six packs too. It's getting even worse. Like I said before. But yeah, both the actresses look the same, and like Arjun Kapoor, like literally all he was there for, just to stop him at the end. Really, he was a smiley face guy at the beginning. He was just there to stop John at the end. That's all it really was, his character. And yeah, and it was just really superficial. The whole film was the way they kept sexualizing 𝓕𝓫𝓬𝓬𝓲𝓪 and making her just wear like crop top shorts, you know, and doing all these hot scenes with John Abraham just to desperately sell the film. It's like they didn't even trust the film. They did it to themselves. Like, if people hated this film, like, they actually did it to themselves, because this film looked too superficial. The only thing I'll give the film credit for, it was just shot really well and the music's good, and that's it. Like, why would you literally only... I would not want to make a film and they were the only two things that people liked about it. I just don't understand today's Bollywood. The films have really gone boring as well. And sometimes they're not... And sometimes I wouldn't even say, like... Actually, yeah, they have actually gone boring, because even the ones that are decent drag as well. You sit there and they're just dragging, and it's like, this is a 2-hour movie. They used to be 3 hours back in the day. 2-hour movie is dragging as well. How bad is that these days? But yeah, this film was superficial, and then the final reveal is 𝓕𝓫𝓬𝓬𝓲𝓪 was a ghost all along anyway. Her character was, and it was just a ghost of her telling him to kill. But of course, in actual fact, they're just showing that he's just like gone insane. There's just like him imagining someone there telling him to kill. But yeah, that was literally big reveal was that, but I didn't even care by this point because the film just done my head in throughout. And then the end scene, somehow, 𝓤𝓪𝓬𝓲𝓪 survives a tiger attack, even though there was no one to stop the tiger, like, in time. Because the tiger, you see in the end of the film just jumping on him, literally. About to jump on him, pounce on him. No one's going to save him at this point. And then he only escapes with a few, he only gets away. They show him in the next scene at the hospital with a few injuries. That's it. Was the tiger not hungry last minute or something? I don't know. But yeah, and they've just like got him in the hospital, and they're more likely going to sequel bait this film as well. And it's awful and superficial, and it should have been made a little bit more realistic, and it didn't feel realistic. It really didn't. I know they'll say, yes it does, we tried with this. No, it didn't. It was really superficial, and there was too much filter in parts as well on the actors too. And yeah, poor Bollywood these days. But yeah, fifth position is the most annoying title ever, Run Sweetheart Run. Is it like a creepy old man who thought that title or something? Oh my god. Or woman, you never know. It's just so creepy. Such a creepy title. And yeah, it had the girl in from Red Online, Resident Evil TV show on Netflix, which was an awful show. Not the girl's fault though. But yeah, it had that main girl in it. She's so she just like goes on a date with a guy, and you know, leaves because like a job place or something like that to do with a job place. And she goes on a date with this guy, and they have a great night together. They have so much fun together, and then all of a sudden, like, it's to do with he attacks her, and then she runs to the police immediately, and the police say they ain't gonna help because of they don't want to help because they're obviously involved with him, so no police is there to help her, so she's got no option but just to keep running away from him. And it's like everywhere she turns, he just kills whoever's around her, and then keeps trying to go after her. And it's just like, at this point, she might as well just surrender herself. Literally, the amount of people keeps killing her when she's around other people. Well, she might as well just hide fully. But she keeps running, and then the annoying part of this film is she's like on her ladies' time, and throughout the whole film, you just get fed up of hearing, anyone got a tampon? Do you have a tampon? You have a tampon? I'm just like, oh, for crying out loud. I know they're trying to show, and of course the big reveal at the end, he was more likely a vampire because he like burns in the end, doesn't he? I think they're just trying to show that from that he could sense where she was. Oh, I think that's what it was actually. That's disgusting. Oh my god. But yeah, you just get fed up of hearing, do you have a tampon? Do you have a tampon? Throughout the whole film, it's just so annoying after a bit, this film. Oh my god. It was just really bad. Really bad. Like, you know, the main villain could act. I think he was good though. But other than that, it was just one disaster. But it was a good time pass film to watch. No, it wasn't even a good time pass film to watch. I'm being too kind. It wasn't. What am I talking about? It wasn't. It came out in Halloween month, so it was another scary film to check out at Halloween. But yeah, so let's go on to the next one. Okay, fourth position, Deep Water. So yeah, Ben Affleck and actress from Knives Out, first one. I can never remember her name. Almas? Oh my god, I wish I could remember her name.
Ana de Armas.
Anna, that's it. Anna de Armas. Anna de Armas. These two shouldn't it already not be? Oh my god, like they already looked an odd couple in this film anyway. Not in a mean way. He's way older than her. He looks like her dad. But then, like, the rumours were that they dated in real life. And I'm like, oh, no. It's like Bollywood, where it's like the older actors working with young girls in love interest roles. Oh. Reminded me of that. And then, like, how would in real life, this stuff that happens in this film even happen? Well, it probably does, you know, actually. I'm on about people are crazy. What am I talking about? As in, like, people are crazy with open relationship stuff, as in, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying like, you know, with like open relationship stuff, people are crazy. But yeah, she has an open relationship, and she just just flirts with guys in front of his face and invites them to the house, and then he lets her just do that while he doesn't have anyone in his life. He doesn't have anyone but her in his life because he's so in love with her. He just puts up with it. That's what they're trying to show. I think she even encourages him in one scene to have one, to like actually like, you know, get it on with other people if he wants to, because in this party scene she says, oh, you and her look like you're having a great time dancing, and it looks like she was encouraging it, or she could have just been a bit jelly herself. You never know. But yeah, it's okay for her to have these open relationships, and she acts like such a twat in the whole film. The way she shouts at a child at the beginning of the film, you just don't even like the woman, like her character. She's just such a bitch. I'm sorry, she's really a bitch. She shouts at her character, and she's like, turn off that shit. Like she says something like that because the little girl's got her little kid stuff on in the morning, and I'm like, well, not her fault you're hanging from all the men you've been getting on with the night before. Is it your daughter's fault? No. Don't take your anger out on your child. So she starts screaming at a kid right at the beginning of the film, and you already can't stand a character. Ben Affleck's character you like because he's actually sweet to his daughter, and you know he's really good to her. And it seems like he's the only good parent out of the two of them, because the mum is just too busy sleeping around more likely. And then he's actually looking after their daughter properly. And I just thought it's not even a good idea they shouldn't have put a daughter into this whole story as well, which was wrong. But I just can't believe it's got the funny guy from Get Out in. It's such a shame in this rubbish film. Like, a lot of people have probably said a joke about this film already, but this film can literally go in deep water and just stay there because it was so awful. And there were just so many annoying scenes, and you know what? Okay, this is the story of the film, of the open relationship thing, I understand, but I just think the film was just really dry. At least if you can show the story, make sure the film's not dry, but the film was trying to be artsy, and I understand, like, fair enough, people like them films, but I'm just not into those artsy sort of like draggy out films. So the film was already trying to be that. And it was just really like boring, the whole film was. With this film I did have to turn it on in the middle because it was just like you know when he's like bathing his daughter in the bathtub, that's when I immediately turned it off. I was like, why do we need to see this? Why do I need to see a dad bathing his daughter? Like, that's just, yeah, keep that away. So that's the only reason I really turned this film off, because I was getting fed up of it. It was trying to be artsy with that, I'm guessing, as well, which I don't understand. Like, what are you trying to do here? Unless it was just a scene of, like, you know, the daughter asking about the mum and stuff. But why did you have to show the kid in the bathtub asking? Like, could just been any other scene. But I might get called ignorant for even pointing out that. But yeah, I had to turn the film off in that scene because I got fed up of it by this point. I was just like, you know what, I don't really want to see this. And then yeah, that's when I turned it off. And I was like, I just don't want anything to do with this film. But yeah, really not a good film at all. I just, even if I was into artsy films, I'd still like find this film annoying. But yeah, let's get on to the next one. Next worst movie. So third position is Morbius. Such a good, interesting story with the, you know, like, he gets the bats to cure him so he can walk again, which, you know, actually you're actually happy for him that like something's going to happen. And then like it's the opposite effect. It turns him into a vampire instead. And then like his friend Milo gets involved as well and wants to be a vampire, and then he has to stop Milo too. And yeah, this film looks low quality, looks older than a 90s film. It was such awful quality. I was like, come on, it's 2022. Why is it such bad quality? If you needed more time in this film, you should have done a few more years. And especially if it's from Sony, come on, they've got money. Come on, to sort this problem out. They should have just spent a few more years on it, of like correcting it. I mean, like, just making it not look so low budget. Just making it look better, make it look nicer. And they had so many years, and it's such a it was just really bad quality, and then the action scenes were just awful. They were just laughable. I think like Morbius is definitely one film that you can watch while you're drunk and just laugh at, because there's just so many funny scenes that don't make sense. And then they make Milo do this really funny dance as well. And it's like really cringe. It's like, oh my god, what is this? And I almost shot there were memes for that, actually. I don't have to look if there's any memes for it, but I really found that hilarious scene. And then like it's just very laughable, the film. I could watch it again and just laugh at it anyway. But I do feel sorry for Jared Leto. He just seems to get like every role he does, he just gets dissed for. Like Joker role, he got dissed for. It's like his acting career just these days has gone, you know, it's gone a bit difficult for him. I feel bad. Hopefully, like he gets a better role because he can act, and I just think like these films haven't worked out, unfortunately for him. And Morbius, the people behind Morbius should have worked hard on it. There were good actors in it. There was good actors, and they could have really worked hard on this film, but they didn't, and made it awful. And they didn't even care that the action scenes looked bad. They just didn't care. There was no care given. You know, and it makes your actors look bad as well because you're not caring yourself. So it was just really, it's just kind of like, yeah, sad at the same time. But yeah, they had to they re-released Morbius at cinema again just because it was so bad. People want to see it again, how bad it was. But yeah, but it could have been a better film, because a good story like that could have been a way better film. I hope they do another version of Morbius in a few years' time. Let's hope so. Throat's getting very dry. So yeah, second position is The Lost City. All I've got to say is I can't even be able to explain the story of this because it's so stupid. But yeah, all I've got to say is, Sandra Bullock, what happened to your acting? You don't act. She can't be asked to act anymore. I don't know what's happened. Does she not want to do acting? Or she maybe doesn't like it anymore? I don't know what's going on, because how did you do such good acting in that good train film in the 90s with, I think Keanu Reeves was in that film, and how did you do such good acting in that when you were young? And a film she did with Stallone in the 90s where she actually did good acting, and was very likeable as an actress. When she was younger, she was so likeable as well. And do Miss Congeniality, where you were just so funny and likeable as well. Like, how did you go from starting out good and then going bad in your acting career? Usually it's the other way around. People start off bad and then they go good because they eventually learn to act, basically. And how did she go from that to that? I don't understand. In this film, she just really annoyed me. She didn't even want to deliver her lines. I'm like, why did you do this film if you weren't even going to put any effort in? What is the point? And it's like, actors like Stallone have had to do bad films, but they still like do a good acting job. Even in the bad films, they at least try, and you're like, oh, they at least tried in this bad film. But she didn't even want to try. Like, you're just watching her deliver her lines, not caring at all, being really annoying, and then they have to like sell the film even more by making her wear something low cut in that pink outfit. Make her wear that throughout just to sell the film. And it's just literally such desperation in this film and throughout, and the story's ridiculous. I can't even be asked to describe the story because I really thought it was just so stupid. I don't know who the story's even made for. And then Channing Tatum has just been playing the same role since he stepped in the industry of the pretty boy with six pack. I don't think he'd ever even like unpretty himself for a role. I don't think he'll ever do it. It would be like nice to see, but he wouldn't do it because all he depends on is his looks anyway, and like that's all he does. And the only film, I'm trying to think of a film that I actually did find his acting good. Like, I did like him in She's a Man. He was funny in that. And his acting was good in Dear John, though. I did actually think he did good acting in that film. But then his other films, I just feel like his acting's really stale. He's just bland. I don't know what happens. I don't understand. Dear John, he was so good. And then his other films, I just don't find him a good actor. And he's just a pretty boy who just keeps getting... I used to fancy Channing Tatum when She's the Man came out. I was like, wow, that guy's so hot in the film as well. But it's just a set, but he just depends on his looks. And he's done this film, this awful film. I nearly forgot the title again, The Lost City. He's done this awful film, and he's just being the pretty boy again. And I didn't even find him that funny. But at times he's doing better acting than Sandra. Even like he was actually delivering his lines better than her. How bad's that? If Channing Tatum, who ain't much of a good actor, is delivering better than her, delivering his lines much better than her. How bad's that? But I just couldn't believe it. This whole film was a disaster, and it was just so hard to watch throughout. I was like, oh my god! And then you can blatantly see the CGI green screen and like the bad CGI. Sorry, I'm saying the wrong thing. You can see the bad CGI, and I'm like, why didn't they actually shoot it in a actual sort of like tropical location with like temples and stuff? Why didn't they actually do that? That would actually have made it more fun. Or even built a set. Actually, no, that would have to be outdoor location to build a set. I'm being stupid there, sorry. But yeah, I just think like they could have found somewhere. I'm pretty sure they could have, where there's ruins of a temple or something. But no, they did it like literally in a studio, and I thought, all this money you guys spent on the film and you didn't even bother. Actual location, you could have done it. But I think you know, of course, I think it's just to do with they have to fly everyone out and this and that, you know, all that effort. Maybe that's why they didn't. But yeah, I just really thought bad acting to sit throughout the whole film, and the story's awful. I just didn't even care after a bit. And I think this film just made for stay-at-home mums. That's all I think this film is made for, who just laugh at anything and just fancy the life out of Channing Tatum. They knew what they were doing with this film, who they're going to sell it to. So I think they're the only ones who liked it, but I can't picture anyone else liking this film. And maybe like teens who, you know, because when you're a teen, you find anything funny. So I was at that stage in my life too, when I found anything, when you just find out the stupidest of films funny. So I understand as a teen why teens would, you know, enjoy it, and because they'll just find anything funny. So I understand that part, but I think it's mainly for those age groups it was. But yeah, this film is so awful. I could tell. I had a feeling from the trailer it was going to be awful anyway. So. But yeah, so we're on number 1 position. So the worst movie of this year, of 2022, is people probably know what I'm going to say. 365 days. This day. I wrote this day. The only reason people probably knew what I'm going to write, because, you know, the first one of this I put in my worst as well. And I'm just fed up with these films getting made. And there's been 3 already. There's been 2 in 1 year this year. I've only watched the second one. I couldn't like sit through the third one. I think I'd go insane. Watching these films, you feel like you're going insane. I just think, I just don't understand. Like today's times, everything's all like, oh, modern day feminism. A man can't treat a woman like this. A man can't do this. But then the first film, he kidnaps this woman, and does it like, and puts her through all this trauma, and kidnapping someone, of course, it's going to mess with, you know, it is going to mess with their head. No one's going to enjoy being kidnapped, are they? And I think with today's feminist time, you can't treat women like this and that. And then in this film, he just literally treats her like, in the first film, he treats her like absolute trash. And of course, like, by the time they fall in love and everything, they're married. Second film, they're married and in love anyway. But yeah, like, so with these today's feminist times, you can't treat a woman like this, you can't do that, which, you know, no one should treat anyone like trash. A woman shouldn't even treat a man badly as well. No one should treat anyone badly. It works both ways. And then all of a sudden, it gets forgiven in the first film by fans of this film because the guy's good looking. So I just don't get this rule of like today's feminist times, you can't treat a woman like that. All of a sudden he gets away with it. And the fans of this film, the only reason they like this film is because they just fancy the main guy. It's mainly females, I know it is, or married women who don't pay attention to their husbands anymore. just like obsessing over this film. That's all it is. I could tell. Oh my god. And they're just literally that they're the it's got to be teen girls at the same time who were just like, wow, he's so hot. But then like with today's feminist times, I thought you can treat a woman like that. I'm confused. As well, I thought the teens would know about that. Because some of them like follow along with that one. But yeah, I think, but if the guy wasn't good looking, then these films no one would even pay attention to at all. If he didn't have a six pack, if he didn't have a nice face, then no one would even care about these films. But that's the only reason they just care about the main actor, Massimo. I think Massimo? No, his character's name's Massimo. I don't even know what his real name is. Michael Moreno. That's his name, isn't it? I only know because of like, you know, Hawassa from Mamamoo fancied him from that mainly. But yeah, I just can't. That's the reason people like these films, because these films are. I've not even got to why I don't like these films. These films are just a graphic version of 50 Shades, where they can properly show the sex scenes, and they're just ridiculous. No story in these at all. It's just trash story. People just are just watching it because they just want to basically perv on their hot guy in the sex scenes. That's the only reason. Let's be real here. And I'd rather watch 50 Shades, all them films, I'd rather watch than this. How bad's that? And yeah, literally. And I was a bit of a 50 Shades fan in the first book. It was like 10 years ago, and I did want to check out the film and everything, but the film wasn't that good. Looking back, but yeah, the story's awful. Sorry, in 365 days, I'm going off. 365 days, the story's absolutely awful. The crash makes no sense from the first one, because they made it look like she died in the cave. Then why don't you show in the cave how she survived the crash? Then it would make more sense to us audiences. But you're too lazy to even show that, because you can't be asked. You're more interested in just selling your film with sex more. And even though people can just go on porn as well, instead of having to wait for these films to release. Just saying, you can just watch porn. There's loads of hot men there to look at, not just one. And yeah, the crash scene makes no sense. I wish they actually showed it inside the cave, what happened, how she survived somehow. The main girl, I don't remember her name. Laura, I don't know. Oh yeah, Laura. Actually, yes, I remembered. Because I watched 2 films of these, that's why I remember the names now. And that makes no sense. Then all of a sudden it becomes like they're married now, and then he's sort of becoming a bit like he ignores her. And then she ends up just going to another guy, and this guy cannot. You already thought, if you thought the main guy couldn't act, this other guy that comes into the film really can't act, and his delivery of dialogue is really like quite cringe actually. And he comes in and be the love interest, and then him and main character just hate each other. I mean, like, just hate each other. But by this time, I just lost interest fully. And there's just no story really to these films. I just really don't think there's a story. There's just bad acting we have to sit through, and annoying characters as well. Very annoying characters at times. You know, like I said, I cannot stand the girl. Like the girl's acting, not the girl, but you know, the girl's the annoying sort of character, her best friend in the film of the main girl. Her acting's really annoying in this film. She really annoys. Like, yeah, I just think they've just gave her really annoying It's not her fault. They've just gave her annoying acting to do, and she's really just an irritating character they made her. But yeah, I literally cannot stand her character as well. And yeah, these films are very much torture to sit through, and I don't think I'll watch another one ever again in my life. And this is the reason it's in my top one. I mean, number 1 position, literally, because it's so bad. And even people who enjoyed the first one didn't like the second one as well. They really couldn't stand it too. The story didn't even make sense to them, so that shows how bad the second one was, even compared to the first one. But yeah, oh my god. But yeah, but like I said before, like I always say, like, it's good to have some bad films as well. just to like watch when you're drunk and laugh at, really. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed my worst movies list countdown. If you don't agree, let me know in the comments, and if you want to add anything, then let me know in the comments as well. And if some of those films you haven't you didn't like as well, or you did enjoy, let me know as well. I'd love to know. I'd love to hear about the films as well. But yeah, thank you for watching, and don't forget to leave a like, share and subscribe to both mine and Luke's channels, and I will see you all soon.